everybody. Okay, so sorry if I'm just a few minutes late, but hello. So we are painting this cute guy tonight. So I got a request to do a rel for him, so I thought it'd be fun. Normally what I do is I draw lower and then I'll increase my saw and kind of redraw a little bit so that it fits inside the rel and looks nice and not overstretched or anything like that. So anyways, thanks you guys for coming in. I'm super excited because I love this sign. Love, love, love. So also you guys, I know that you guys were asking for the apron that we did on Thursday, and it finally uploaded. I'm so sorry. Venmo was taking forever to upload it, but it is uploaded now. The link I did post in the retherapy, so go ahead and you guys can rewatch that and everything else. So, oh, you're in Pigeon Forge. How awesome. Sorry, you guys, my phone is going off. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I gotta show you guys. Look how cute. Lisa with She Creations made this for me. Isn't that so cute? Lisa Martinez. So, anyways, I thought it was lost, and a neighbor down the street had it. So, anywho, hey. Love myself some Pigeon Forge. See, I'm a little jealous. Okay, I'm gonna flip. There we go. It should be, I tried to get it zoomed in as good as I could. Let me know if you guys are having any problems. Hopefully everything's fixed. I don't know. Everything kind of keeps getting messed up here. Trying to think what we should do first. So just so you know, because this one had a lot of white on it, I went ahead and did 2 coats. A lot of the time, if I have a ton of white, I go ahead and do 2 coats so then I don't have to come back in and do the white. So like this is white, you know, we've got a lot of white, plus all the stripes and stuff like that. I think I'm actually going to start with the brown of the train, and then we'll paint Gingy. I don't know, what should we name him? He's cute. Our little train conductor. And so for the train itself, I'm going to be using Autumn Brown. And you guys know I love me some Delta Green Coat. That is what I love to paint with the most. Okay, I'm just making sure we've got the comments going. I'm not losing anybody. So I'm going to go ahead and go with a 5/8 angle brush. I am going to just get it a little bit damp. The chair is already squeaking, so yay on that. All right, so I'm going to go with the bigger area over here first. So I just loaded the brush, and then I'm coming down and I'm going to go sweep that down, and then we're going to curve. And it's okay if you don't meet the full curve, because you don't want a huge clump of paint, and then we'll just meet up. Sometimes you have to do a couple before you meet up. And then we'll smooth out the paint that we had. Now this Autumn Brown, I do have to do 2 coats with. It is a pretty good coverage, but it shows streaks on that first coat that you lay down. As much as I've tried to even be a little bit extra with extra heavy with the paint, it just likes to show a little bit of a streak, which I don't particularly care for. So we try and do that. Oh, and I can see more comments coming in. Hack and Jack. Jack is cute. I like Jack the Gingerbread Man. He's cute. So one thing I love about gingerbread, and I don't know if y'all will agree with me or not, but I feel like gingerbread you can keep up a little bit longer. I don't feel like it's total Christmas, especially if you get the red and white on the gingerbread. I feel like you can keep it up a little bit longer. Like, honestly, I think you could keep it up till like Valentine's or maybe past, because I think gingerbread is kind of sweet and cute. So you could probably leave it up till like after Valentine's, you know, once Valentine's is done. Just my opinion. So I did get inspiration for the gingerbread train. There is a roll of ribbon that is out that has it. Unfortunately, I did not get my hands on it, but anywho, I just don't want to spend $8 on one roll to get it. So we're just not going to use that when I make the roll. But anywho, Jack Hack was a spell check. Yeah, I figured. I'm the worst at that stuff right too, Cece, so I understand 100%. I'm going to go ahead and turn him. We're going to go ahead and get right here. I'm going to get the edge of the train. Ooh, we got a little bit off with my stencil here on the wheel. So we're going to fix that by just going like that. There we go. Done. Nobody's got to know about that one. Alright. So I'm just pulling the excess paint away here. And then we've loaded the brush and just running it straight. And then I'm going to take the other side and go back to meet it. And then slowly just kind of smooth that out. You guys, I'm sorry, my comments aren't scrolling for some reason. Hey Lori, how are you? I know, spell check is why you're BRR, huh? Love this row. Thank you, Carol. He is pretty fun, I have to admit. I had a lot of fun drawing him. I saw the ribbon and fell in love with it. I should have bought it then when I saw it, but I didn't. And I just don't buy enough of ribbon anymore to basically justify spending a $60 on getting free shipping, or I pay $13 with Craft Outlet. And so yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't really feel like spending that much on a roll of ribbon. And one thing that's really nice with rails is you don't use as much ribbon either, so that's kind of fun too. Okay, so we're just going to smooth that nice out. And I did make a boo-boo where you can see right there, but when we do the highlighting lines, it will cover it right up, so I'm not even worried. I used to be such a perfectionist and freak out about those kind of things, and then I realized I'm freaking out over absolutely nothing because it gets hidden anyways. So just remember your boo-boo lines, we can fix those. Never worry about them. Alright, so we will just head right in here. And then another thing I wanted to introduce you guys today is one of my favorite products. It is the Snow Puff Paint, and you're wondering probably why the heck I'm using snow. But it looks so cute for frosting. Love it for frosting. And I'll show you how to make it look more frosting-ish. And it turns out so, so cute. Alright, I think I'm to the point where we're gonna have to maybe go with a smaller brush for in here. We'll try and get what we can, but we'll have to probably come in with a smaller brush. So for some of you guys, when you're getting in the in-between and everything else, it is better to be on the safe side and go to a smaller brush than to mess up your whole entire painting. So one thing that you can do if you're trying to avoid switching brushes, which I hate to switch brushes, I get it, is you can try and use the very edge and load just the edge of it, and that helps a lot too. Sherry, I can't remember if I said hi to you or not. I think I did, but I just wanted to make sure I said hi. Hey, Carol. All right, let me make sure I'm caught up. It's just not scrolling, you guys, so I want to make sure I'm catching everything. All right, so this one, we're just going to loop around. So we're really using the edge of that angle brush. Love me my angle brush. All right. I might tempt that because I really don't want to switch. So like I said, we're really working with the angle brush right here. And this may look like a really complicated one to paint, but really there's not too much of painting for this one. This one's a pretty easy one. You could go a little bit crazy and go with some shading and stuff like that. I'm just gonna get these edges where I'm remembering, because you guys know I am the worst at remembering edges. So just grabbing right here. And then I did paint all of the edges white too on this one because there is, like I said, a lot of white edges. So I just figured it would be easier sanity-wise to go ahead and do that. As you can tell, white is one of those things that I hate really painting. I'd rather just paint over the white. And white is also one of those things that makes your paint stand out. So I love to paint with a white. Basically just think of it as a nice primer. I don't use the expensive white. I just buy the Apple Barrel white. It does a great job on coverage and everything else. Really, white can be pretty much white, you know. And when you're using it most of the time for just a base coat, it helps a lot. Okay, we're gonna try and get this. Hey, Linda. Oh, good, yay, woohoo! And Nancy, how are you? Oh, good, hi, Mimi. I'm glad she likes it, Cece. Okay, so you guys, when you're in a tight space, you're gonna keep your brush up as much as you can. You're not gonna pull down, you're gonna just hold it up tight, and you're gonna kind of just drag it. Same thing here. And this is because it's a tight angle and I'm being too lazy to switch out my brush. I hate switching out my brush. I almost like make it, oh good, she said hey, perfect. I hate switching out my brush. So it's almost like a game to see if I can, if I can stay with the brush. So there we go. That's done. Oh, let's see. I can see one little spot that I forgot to get with the stencil. So we'll get that right here. The rail, you guys, is not listed, but I promise you I'll get it listed, painted, or for you guys if you want to paint yourself. And then I painted right there, but it's part of the rail, so we're not going to worry too much with it. We'll get it with a baby wipe in just a minute. Okay. I just want to make sure I got all of those. It's very easy to accidentally miss a spot. Okay, same thing here. We're in a tight area, so we're going to try and keep our brush up as close as we can. So we're not pulling down, we're not laying it flat, we're just putting it point up. And we're going to just drag it across. But you're going to make smaller motions when you're doing it. So this one, we're going to still keep up, but kind of fan the tip of the angle. Same here. And that's going to just give us the curve that we're looking for. Okay, gonna grab right here, grab the hand right there, getting the web of the inside of his hand there, and then I'm just smoothing out just a little bit. Okay, hopefully we're good. All right, top of the train now. Smooth that out. So I have exciting news. Hubby got told that he can't fly anymore. So yay, we don't have, germs coming back to the house. And I get my sanity back. So I'm excited. You guys, my phone, man, she likes to listen in. She's nosy.
To continue, you'll need to log into Spotify. This will link your Spotify.
I don't need to Spotify. Okay, so I'm just getting this edge here. Cece, I was going to be like, you're calling me, but I caught it. All right here, once again, we're going to do the edge of the brush. And then this edge is a little rough, but like I said, the line, when we do the outlining, it's going to get there. So I'm not too worried about it. And you guys, we are almost done with the brown. And I can see a couple little spots that we do need to touch up, but it should go pretty fast. Like right here, there's a few, but the coverage, like I said, with this autumn brown is really quite good. It's just spotty in different little areas, unfortunately. It could almost be a paint that you could do one and done, which you know how much I love the one and done. Oh, thank you, Al, for getting that. Yeah. Autumn Brown by Delta Cream Coat. Or Cerama Coat. That one. I say cream coat and I know it's not. It's Ceram Coat. Okay. Did I get this edge? Nope, I didn't. Just grab the edge right quick here. Okay. So just get this real quick with that second coat. I always feel like the second coat goes so much faster because a lot of the time your paint will be really good around the edges because you put a little bit more pressure on your edge. So a lot of the time your edges end up being perfectly fine. It's in the center where you've smoothed out your paint that needs that extra little bit. So like I said, we're just running that really quick through. Another thing too, if this helps you with painting, is to paint at an angle, especially if your wrists are hurting. It really does help your wrists a lot, which Lord knows my wrists can be extra painful at times. So we got that one. Whew, my hair's in the way. All right, this little area looks fine, so I'm gonna skip there, but this one I can see just a little bit right there. This one just needed a little bit in the center there. All right. Hey Debbie, how are you? Okay, so now I'm just getting real quick this last little bit here. Like I said, when you're doing little areas with a big brush, make sure you just use the tip of your brush. That helps a ton. Oh, Debbie, you can't tag anybody unless they are a cubby because I am one of the designers in the Retherapy group. So, but thank you for trying to share. I appreciate it. Okay. Oh, I saw a spot that I missed right here on the edge. As you guys know, I always forget my edges. Yay, at least I didn't have the paint fully away. Okay, the top of this is actually looking really good. There's only a few little spots that I can see kind of popping through. So I'm just gonna touch brush here. And we're gonna call it good. Okay. Okay, and done. I grabbed way too much paint like I always do, so you guys know what I do when we grab too much paint, because you always want to save your paint, especially right now with COVID. Paint is like still a scarce commodity. It's hard to get it in different places. I've noticed it starting to make a comeback on the shelves, but there's still certain ones that just don't. That just haven't come back yet, so. Some of my favorite reds, they're really hard to find. The gray was a little bit hard to find as well, so. Okay, so this is one of my favorite that is actually not from Delta. This is from Deco Art. It's honey brown, and it is my favorite for gingerbread color. I just think it is so adorable. Oh, okay, Debbie. Maybe she's just not, she hasn't joined the Facebook group yet. Okay, so honey brown from Deco Art Americana, and that is, like I said, one of my absolute faves. Let me just clean my brush real quick. I'm actually going to go down a size. Okay, so I'm going to a 3/8 angle brush, and I know for a fact I am going to smear the crap out of this if I don't blow. Just heat it for a second. So I have a heat gun, but if you have a blow dryer too, this will work. If you do have a heat gun, always put it on the low setting and not the high setting. The heat on the high is just too high. Almost there. Okay, let me throw that on the hook. And also remember with your heat guns to make sure that the tip is away from you, because it will burn the crap out of your arm. Brand of heat gun, girl, I just went for the cheap, and I went to Harbor Freight and picked one up. I think it was maybe 10 bucks, and it does the job. I love that heat gun, but like I said, I burnt myself on it, so be careful. Okay, so this is little white frosting right here. So we're gonna leave that alone. And you know what? I realized I don't have any little white frosting on his face. And I'm thinking we might add the white frosting onto his face, because I'm really digging that. So I might just draw a little spot on his face so we can have a little bit. You guys, I love to draw and sketch, but I hate to freehand with painting. Unless it's like a print or something like that, I will do it. But I just feel like it's harder. You can mess up a little bit easier. So I like to put a stencil down for myself. It just seems to go a little bit easier, and kind of know where everything is. That is what I personally prefer to do. But if you are inclined to be able to do that, by all means go for it. I just can't. Okay, I think we're going to add just a little frosting line right there. There we go. Oh, good, Debbie. I'm so glad that you're loving the group. That makes me so happy. Oh, Linda, you will love it. I promise. You guys, I am in love with Harbor Freight. It's pretty sad. The manager, knows me by name. He's the coolest guy ever, too. But he's always like, hey, we got this in today. Have you seen this? He is the funniest guy. But yes, Harbor Freight really does know me by name. It's kind of pathetic. They don't know my husband by name, which is funny. But they sure know me. And my husband's pretty, tool inclined and stuff like that. So he gets a little jealous that they know me and not him. I'm like, it's because I'm pretty. I'm just joking. Okay, so the one thing too with the honey brown is it is definitely a second coat. It does show the lines just a little bit more, but it's not horribly bad. Most of the time when you're painting, you're going to have to do 2 coats. So just plan on that. However, the paint that really does give you one coat. It is like my favorite, and I will tell you when it's a one and done type of paint. My favorite when that happens. So I'm just going around his face right now. We got around his buttons. Ooh, I had a little too much caffeine. My hands are a little shaky. Like I said, we're just using the angle here, pulling, and then smoothing out our paint. And I am going to paint right over the smile. I know where the line is. It will show through the paint just a little bit, which is great. But little smile lines and stuff like that, like I said, I am okay with those little things. But to do a full thing and paint it without having a template, I would be a little nervous to do that. Unless it was something pretty basic. But like I said, I think it's really good to have, oops, I got paint right here. Let me grab a baby wipe, because that is a white spot. So when you do have major, or I shouldn't say major, but when you have oopses, where you've smeared with your hand just a little bit, baby wipes are a painter's best friend, really a crafter's best friend. You should always have baby wipes. So I'm just going to pull that right off. As you can see, it came right off. No biggie, and we're done. So we're gonna go right around the eye hair, right around his nose. This one, I promise you, I am going to have to go with a smaller brush. It's not even like a, I could maybe get away with it. With these little spots in between the eyes, it would make me really nervous. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab, this is a 5-round brush. I made it to tip. We're going to just get it in the paint real quick. We're going to make a little round here and kind of fix that white. Same right here. We'll need a template, yes. And so you guys, any of my blanks, just by FYI, if you get my blanks, it has the template already on it. So no worries there. Or if you're like Lori that says that she's just not talented enough, I caught that. You can just purchase it from me painted if you're really in love with it. Or you can just sit and enjoy it and watch me paint. I have a lot of people that say that just watching me paint's relaxing, but you know what? I think that painting in itself is just relaxing. I think it's really fun to just paint and get going with it. Let's see. This paint is actually drying pretty fast, so I am going to go ahead with that second coat, and then we will work on the red, and then the snow slash frosting, you guys. My favorite thing in the whole entire world. Love that stuff. It is the cutest. Okay, so if you guys saw right there with that small little area, I just took the angle of the brush, kept it straight, instead of flattening it down and pulled. You can do paint by numbers, then see, Lori, you could do this. You could totally do this, I promise. If you can do paint by numbers, you can do this. This is pretty much paint by numbers. This is painting like in a coloring book. I told you guys, I'm going to get her to paint one of these times. Maybe for her retreat, we're going to get her to paint. She's going to be like, you're not invited to the retreat, Rachel. I can include it of recommendations on the colors. All you would need to do is just ask me at the checkout or in the notes, and then I will include that in there for you. So, no problem whatsoever. Or just send me a message asking for it. I have no problem sharing the colors. I wish that I could include a whole kit, but like I said, right now, paint is so scarce to come by that trying to put, you know, huge kits together, I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to get all the paint. It won't be at Margaritaville? Okay. That's hilarious. That cracks me up. Margarita. That sounds good. I haven't had a good margarita in a while. The restaurant's closed down. So, and I like margaritas, like the slushy margaritas, you know, the frozen ones. I like those. Those are my faves. Alright, so as you can tell, this coat goes on so much better. Like that first coat, you're kind of like, this is a little splotchy. I ain't sure about this. Then the second coat goes on and it's like, okay, we got this. It looks good. Don't be afraid of that with your painting. Sometimes that first coat, it looks bad and you're wondering, what the heck did I do wrong? So much money? Oh no. Well, that's no bueno. We'll have to chat, Laura. We haven't had a chat in a while. Okay. I'm going to go back to the small round brush because we're there. We're in need of it. You guys can tell I batch paint, right? So batch painting, for those of you that don't understand, is it's kind of like an assembly line of painting. So you get a bunch of them out and paint. And as you can tell, I'm used to doing that because I give myself way too much paint. I'll have to show you guys one time how I batch paint. I probably won't do the whole thing, but I'll show you how we do it. Okay, so the man is painted. Whoop whoop. One more thing done. Let me grab this brush. We'll save the paint. I never did. I always wanted to, but when I used to live in Utah, and those are a little scarce, especially in the area that I lived in, alcohol is just not as big of a thing. It's getting more, but and then when I moved out here to Illinois, there were a lot of them, but they were really expensive, and I had a girlfriend that was teaching them, but she got out of the business before she did another class of it. But I always thought it would be fun to even just do the door hanger thing. I did teach a couple of wreaths and wines. I know that was Casey's thing, but my clients could order from the bar because I would host at different venues, different restaurants, and they could order from the bar. And so I did host some of those, and wreaths and drinking is fun too. You just have to make sure that they understand that the glue gun is hot, scissors are sharp, but it was fun. Love, love, loved it. All right, let me, the angle brush that I want is gone. Oh, I guess it's because I was using it. Go figure. Okay, so I'm just cleaning out this brown. So I'm having my Bob Ross clean brush moment. I wish I could do that like smacky sound that he did. You know, like that on the wood thing, because that was always cool. I used to love that when he would do that. Okay, next paint is bright red. It's also one of my favorites. So my 3 favorite reds are for Christmas are fire red. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit pinker. And then this is like bright red is like red. And my other favorite one is opaque red. So you can kind of see the difference in those. Opaque and bright red are just a little bit off from each other, but those are my favorite colors for reds. Yes, don't put your paintbrush in the line. That would be so funny. I bet that's happened so many times. I might have to go get another bottle of those, but you know me, you guys, I always give myself too much, so. It's a lot easier with wine. I think it is sometimes, because I think people overstress about their project. I really do. I think I'm going to go down a size. I didn't want to go down to 1/4, but I feel like I'm going to have a lot of hard cuts, and my wrist just doesn't want to handle that tonight. So, we're going to go ahead and do the stripes with the angle. So I'm just going to start here because it was already here. All right. This one definitely gets paint on the edge. So we'll paint that one up. Okay. Smooth that out. So this, like I said, we're just going to load the brush, and it's just the tip. You're not dunking the brush in, just the tip of your brush, and then it will load up into the top of your brush because you're pushing it down to smooth it out. So if you loaded it all the way up, it would be too much paint, and then you guys would have a lot of gloppiness and a little too much paint. And you'll start to figure it out. It happens to everyone at first. Is you'll get too much on. It's just what happens. But you'll soon start to get a feeling of how much paint you need on your brush. And every brush is different, I'm not gonna lie. I get really partial to some of my brushes just because I've learned how to use them. You know, the feel of them, where I like my fingers, all that kind of stuff. And you will too. It just takes some time. But I promise you, you guys, like if you tried painting, you would love it. It's very soothing, very therapeutic, in my opinion. But I know that it's just one more thing, too, for some people. Like, I want to do a zillion freaking things, but Sometimes it's like, yeah, it's on the list. I'll maybe get to it before I die. I can hear my dog upstairs. Have you heard those little pigs, those plastic pig dog toys that like squeak like a pig and it's like, if you can hear it, because she's like playing with it right next to the heater vent. Anywho, I can hear it and it's making me giggle. Hey Linda, how are you, hon? Okay. Just getting to the top of this little thing. There we go. Okay, we're gonna grab his hat, which typically with his hat I would go to a bigger brush for, but like I told you guys, I'm lazy. I don't like switching brushes very much, so we're gonna stick with it. Now this bright red, a lot of reds, you guys, you're gonna have to do 2 coats. I have never really found a full red that you can get away with one and done. Almost every single one of them, you're gonna see your strokes and everything else with, unfortunately. But these reds, the ones that I told you are my favorite, they do go on pretty good. Yes, Linda, I'm starting at 6 now. It was just a little bit harder to get dinner done, or get dinner with the kids. They were complaining that it was late and everything else. And I thought my husband would be traveling a little bit more, so that's why I changed the times. So I apologize, but that is why I did it a little bit earlier. But if you guys want, I can do it later in the evening too. Like around, I guess it would be 9 o'clock. It'd have to be like 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's hard with these girls and trying to get them to go to bed right now, because they don't feel like they're in school, which, I mean, is explainable, but they are, because they have to get up for Zoom calls. So, it's been fun at my house. Alright, so we're going to give him a nice little red nose. The nose is just a little bit oval. So I'm just curving with my wrist, which, like I said, my wrist is kind of giving me some issues today. So if you see me moving the sign a lot more, that's why. Oh, awesome, Linda. That's awesome. I know curbside pickup all too well. We have Chili's, like right down the road from us, so I do that a lot, unfortunately. I'm not a cook. I just have never really gotten into it. Thank goodness my husband is. He loves to cook. He buys all the gizmos and gadgets, and I don't even care. I'm like, you have at it. As long as you just make me good meals, which I have to say he really does. Have at it. I suck at cooking. Now, baking, that's a whole other thing. I'll bake, because it involves sugar. Hey, Casey, how are you, honey? I know, I love Chili's. Love me some Chili's. Their chips and queso had me at hello almost every single time. Okay, so we are getting there. I think what we're going to do, let's see, we'll get these real quick. And then we'll work down onto the wheels. So when you get to this stage, it's kind of looking a little like, what the heck did I do? It's looking a little dull. You're not seeing the cutesiness as much because you painted over a lot of the lines, and the lines aren't looking so good. So what we'll do once we get all of this painted is we'll come back in and add the details back in, so that you can either do that with a marker, a paint marker, or you can do that with a paint pen, like a paint pen marker. You don't want to do anything with oil, because when you go to do the clear coat, it's going to make a big mess for you. I personally love Posca pens, paint pens. They're my favorite. Oh, I just totally hit that with my brush. He looks like he has a bloody hand. Let's clean that up. See? Oh, there's a little bit more. Alright. Better. Fixed. Love, love, love baby wipes. Like I said, best friend in the whole world. But these are Posca pens. Love these. If you don't like to do lining by yourself, or you're feeling a little bit intimidated of it, when I first started painting, I did pens all the time. And then I got to the point where I felt a little bit more comfortable with my brushing and different things like that, that I now use a liner brush and paint that way. Sue, you have never had Chick-fil-A before? Gingerbread Man Conductor, yes. I think Cece named him Jack. Just FYI. Isn't he cute? But we're still trying to figure out a name. That was just the only name that got popped up. I love Chick-fil-A. Girls love it too. What did you get from there? I mean, everything they have there is amazing. Their salads to their chicken nuggets to their sandwiches. They used to have a chicken salad sandwich. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love that. Love, love, loved. I'm just going to get this tire because it was already part of the candy cane there at the bottom there. So, why not? Oh my gosh. No wonder why you left upstate. I would have too. No Chick-fil-A, I'd have been gone. I remember like dreading going to the mall with my mom. But the only reason why I would go is because I knew that she would let me have Chick-fil-A. That was the only reason why I'd go. And I'd be so nice because of it. Waffle fries, chicken sandwich, and the dog got nuggets. Oh, those are so good. I love their chicken sandwich. One of my faves. It was so good seeing you, by the way, Sue. I'm glad everything is going so good for you. Okay. So we're getting there. So like I said, if we wanted to, we could put some of the brown with the autumn brown and ombre it to shade it with the honey brown on the train, and that would give it a good shading technique and everything else if that was something that you'd want to do. Like I said, I'm doing pretty beginner tonight with you guys, just because this is a larger project. Whoops, I messed up right there. I thought that was a red spot. So, hold on just one sec. Alright, that's close enough to the outline line that I'm not going to worry too much now about it. I wasn't paying attention. This one, however, is, so I don't have to be as careful there. Okay. You're going to get the little light here. Their lemonade is amazing. Love their lemonade. And I prefer actually their diet lemonade. I think it tastes a little bit sweeter, not as sour. And it's made with Splenda. So low calorie. I am all about trying to get as less. I love drinks. Drinks are like my favorite thing. But I hate how much calories I spend on just drinking drinks. So I've learned to kind of watch those kind of things a little bit more. And
Here you go.
okay, thanks. My phone's going off again. I swear this new phone that I got, it listens a lot. It's probably because I'm usually always quiet down here. So she's like, oh, you're talking. I thought it was your mom's. I know that, yeah, Lori, I know that you guys go there a lot. Their brownies and cookies are delish. Hey, Lisa. I showed them my cup. I've been so excited. I didn't tell you guys. So, my cup, I thought it got lost or stolen in the mail. But it ended up that one of my neighbors had it, and she thought it was a Christmas gift, so she just put it away. And I put a note out in our Facebook community asking if anybody by chance it got delivered, like on a Hail Mary kind of thing, because it was so sad. And luckily, she had it, and she's like, I'm so sorry, I feel so bad, because she's had it since Wednesday. Because when Lisa told me that it delivered, I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I got all scared. But it turned out all good. I'm so thankful it did. Because I was so sad about my cup, you guys. I wasn't thinking it was coming. I'll show it to you guys again in a minute. No, they are paint pens, Sandy. Yeah, they're paint pens. Wonderful paint pens, I might add. And they come in almost every color of the rainbow. And if you have a Joann's by you, I know that Joann's carries them. Honestly, I haven't checked Hobby Lobby or anything like that. The only reason why I haven't is really, I've been trying to stay out of there a little bit more. Because every time I go in there, I always get there. You could definitely. Those paint pens, you would definitely like. They help a little bit more when you have those shaky hands and stuff like that until you get more comfortable with your painting and your brush lines and strokes. I would definitely say that. They're the bomb. I will give you that. I love them. I really like them for when I'm doing writing. I personally would rather use the Posca pens than doing the painting with a brush. It just gives a better coat. a more solid coat with your paint. I personally think, so I use paint pens when I'm writing a little bit more than doing the brushes. You can pick them up also from Amazon. You can get like a pack and they come in different sizes as well. If you want a link, if you go to my business page, Rachel's Crafty Corner, you can go to my affiliate list that's listed on my page. And it's just a Google Drive that has all the links, and that will tell you too. All the schools are out. Yeah, ours are too. Oh, wow, that's crazy, Linda. Lillian, I'm so glad you caught me. All right. So as you can tell, I probably, like I said, I probably should have went to a bigger brush for these. But you guys, I hate switching brushes because it's one more brush you gotta clean. But anywho, we'll just hurry and get these last few wheels done. We'll touch this guy up one more time, which, like I said, touch up always is, that second coat I feel like is always super fast compared to the first coat. Don't know why it seems that way. It just seems that way though to me. I think it's because you're not as worried about your lines as much because they're already there. Okay, just smoothing this guy out. Sorry you guys if it sounds like a jet engine's going off. That would be my heater, furnace, whatever, going right off. It gets loud. I think it's kind of almost everywhere that I've heard of now, because I know, oh, I'm trying to remember, Melissa, I think, was the one that told me, and isn't she in Tennessee or Kentucky? I think she was saying that her kids were having it, were doing the same. I know Utah is for sure, just because I have family out there. But I think it's kind of almost like a standard thing now, that almost all the states are doing it. Alright, so I'm just going to get these edges real quick. Got this edge. And the top one right here. Okay. So one quick second coat, and then we can get outlining. Oh, you guys, guess what? I realized I forgot to get his dark brown eyes with the autumn brown. So we'll just take the lid and hurry and get that real quick once I'm done with the red. Yep, I just got paint on me. Whoop. I ain't doing too good tonight with getting paint. I'm a hot mess with the paint, man. buttons. Get this tire since I'm here. Might as well. I know we just painted it, but it's looking a little dry, so we'll grab it real quick. I always think it's funny when I paint with red, so you guys can see. I'll go somewhere and I'm like, oh, my husband will be like, oh my gosh, you're bleeding, and I'm like, no. Oh my gosh, my phone. But anyways, I always think it's funny because without fail, there's always some part of me that is always covered in paint. I just realized I didn't get that little spot there, so we'll grab it. Grab this one. Okay, grabbing these really quick here. Just giving a second smoother coat. And like I said, a lot of the time your edges will be fine. It's your centers that need that little bit of extra paint on them. Alright, so we got that one smoothed out. And like I said, we're just working with that 1/4 angle brush. You could probably step it up on the tires for sure, but the rest of the stripes I would stick with the 1/4 just because it's a good width for in between. A way that you can check your angle brushes too to make sure that you're in a good width is you kind of put it here, and if it's half or just a little itty bit more, like 1/4 to half, that's about the width that you want to stay in, because that gives you motion to go side and down. Oh, Sue, you had tours today? Oh, wait a minute, they rescheduled. Oh, I'm so excited. So excited for you. Okay, I'm being careful this time with that one spot. So don't go over. All right. Okay, just smoothing that one out. Okay, and we're getting the light here up front. I think this is where it caused me to get some of my paint that's now on my arm. All right, so red is officially done. And then when you're just using a little bit of something, like I said, I forgot to get the eyes real quick. So just use your cap. Yep, I did make that a point with my finger, or with my tongue. Okay, so what you're gonna do, let me make sure this is, we're not gonna smear anything here. We're just gonna run real across. And oh, I'm using a one liner, a brush. for this. For his eyes here. Because like I said, I forgot. And I tried to put a generous amount so we don't have to do a second coat, but we'll double check once it dries a little bit more. I'm actually going to keep this liner brush out. Woo! That came right off. Okay, so now we're going to do black. And this is where you basically are almost like reversing like your coloring book. So you're adding the lines back on from your coloring book. Another thing that I like to do when I am doing outlines is I add just a little bit of water. So if you guys can see that, I just use the back of the brush, stir it up. You want, when you're doing lining, for it not to be like super watery, but a good, you know, watered down. It makes it a little bit easier to do your lines. Okay. This is going to be frosting, so we're going to add the lines after for there. But we're just going to add these lines right back on, and you're going to see how all of a sudden your project pops. Because remember how I was saying it's kind of looking dull, kind of want, you're like, what the heck did I just do to this thing? You're going to add these lines on, and then it's going to pop again. And this will also help. A lot of people say that the lining, like their hands are just not smooth enough. And I think a lot of it is you're just, the paint's not working with you. So if you do, I'm actually going to go to a smaller liner brush. I don't like this one. Okay, so this one is a 10/0 spotter brush. You guys know me and my zigzags, but I feel like sometimes your paint is working against you, and that's why you're not liking the results that you're getting. Because if you had paint that just goes smooth across, it works so much better. I am going to do the outline of this one just a little bit, because sometimes the frosting's not going to come straight down to our lines. So we will add right here. And I add a little zigzag there. And you're going to always want to go back and forth with your paint. So I like to almost just hold my little tray and do it that way. Sometimes it just works a little bit easier for me, so I'm not reaching clear across, I can't talk, to get those. So if you can see, it's kind of just almost making everything re-pop again. You're kind of re-seeing your design again, but you're seeing it with color. I'm glad I added the frosting on to the side of his face. It looks cute. Okay. Let me get the top here. So I drug just a little bit here with my brush, so I'm going to go back and touch that up. Another thing too is if you're getting those spotty lines or it's feeling really hard to pull your brush when you're doing the outlining, it's probably you don't have enough paint on your brush. So go ahead, go back in, get just a little bit more paint on there, and I promise you it will work so much better. I like to add the little swiggies. It's just something I do. I think it gives a little bit more fun. I know some people like to add little dots or little dashes. It's just kind of like my little trademark that I've started doing. And you'll kind of create your own little thing too that you like. So we're just adding these in. I know the black of his eye we didn't get to, but we will get to it now. So all I'm doing with the black of his line, like what I said, you could add or could go in with a different brush. But for me, it's just easier to use the liner. One less brush I gotta do. Getting his little eyeball there. Done. I'm gonna barely touch right here and get a really thin line across the top of his eye. And you guys, I used to hate eyeballs. Still kind of do. Eyes have always been a struggle for me. I like to do them more whimsy just because when everything's more whimsical, it's a little bit easier to do. All right, we're gonna go right here. Shoot, I think I got my hand there. Yep. I am not doing good with my hand tonight. Alright, and I'm going to just put a cute little swooshy right there on his nose. We'll get the rest of his mouth here. I'm going to go back across. There we go. I make it so easy. It takes time. Hey, I get it. Time slips away. I'll get painting sometimes down here and I don't even realize when it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I get it. It's hard when you're in the zone of your head and creating. You get lost. Okay. I'm going to flip this way for just a second. Look at his arm. Grab his belly real quick here. So I hope you guys can see how it just makes everything pop when you add these lines back in. It's very satisfying when you're painting to see it come back alive. Oh, I would love to. Love, love, love to. Yep, I've done logos before for people. That one right there. Come back over here and get this guy before I forget. So if you can see, all of those little boo-boos that we had where we went over the little line a little bit, they all get covered when you do these detail lines. It makes everything just kind of pop and everything be okay. Alright, so now we're just going to go straight across. Got a little bit off right there, so we're going to clean that up. Same there. And right there. Okay. Right here. Get a little swishy. Love myself my swishies. And then when I'm doing the outside line, I don't really care if it doesn't all the way go through, and it's more of like just a little half line kind of thing going on, or a swoosh. Some people like it straight on the edge. I used to do that, and then I started doing this, and I liked it more, so I started doing that. But that's the thing with painting. Make it your own style, for sure. You'll love it a lot more when you're not trying to be like somebody else, and just have fun with it. So I'm just going across here, guys. Here we go. Straight across there. Right here. So the little boo-boo that we had where I overpainted and we cleaned it up with the baby wipe, we now cannot see. It's nice and covered with an outline. Even if you have to go a little bit heavier on your outline, it works. Promise. And nobody's gonna know but you that you screwed up there. Or the people that are watching you because you're recording. Somebody's at my door.
Someone is at the front door.
Okay, so we got that done. I'm gonna grab the frosting right here. We drug right there. Okay. Okay, so now we'll just get this frosting real quick. And then we get to add the glitter slash frosting snow. Because you guys know I have to have a little bit of bling on my signs. I love the bling on the signs. Kind of like my signature. If the swishies aren't enough. Okay, let me make sure my hand is dry. Okay. Getting right here real quick. How much do I charge for rails? With shipping, I charge 35 painted and 25, or I'm sorry, it is actually 37 painted. I had to change it a little bit because of shipping. So 37 painted, unpainted is 27, and then if I do hangers, so they're a little bit bigger, like the door hanger size, those are 55. That's how much I charge. And yes, I think you're allowed. I don't think Lori would care. She'll let me know if she did. And then with Lori's group, I also give a discount as well, which is hard. HWM group, I believe, is the discount. And if it's not working, I probably forgot to update, so let me know, and I will fix it. Okay, one thing you guys, I forgot, I lied. I am going to throw just a little bit of white on here for just some highlighting using the same brush as I did before, which is the Zero Spotter. We're just going to just throw a little bit of highlight. Highlight just, oops, I realized I didn't get this black line right here. So we can hurry and grab that. Highlighting just adds a little extra pop and a little more fun. Gives a little bit more dimension as well to things. Highlighting is one of my favorite things to do because it really does make everything just pop. With just a little simple amount, it will make your project look so good. So it's kind of giving that appearance that this little train is a-moving, is what we're doing here. We'll go right there, add a little swoop. I like to highlight a lot. Some people don't care for a lot of highlighting. It's all personal preference, I feel like. But to me, it just gives that extra. A little extra fun, a little extra movement. Get right here with his little buttons. Get his nose. Go right there. Go right there. A little bit on his hat. Also, we're going to do his eyes, which I don't like this spot of my size of my paintbrush. So this is an embossing tool. I remembered what it was called, guys. And so with those, I'm just going to add a little dot. Each dot is a little bit smaller on both sides. And that just gives a little brightness to his eyes. Hey Susan, how are you? But I just love to add a little bit of highlighting. I think it just, like I said, I think it just adds to the project. Don't be afraid to highlight. Okay, I'm gonna snag one more right here. I feel like it needs it. And right here. Okay. And maybe just a little bit if my brush wants to cooperate. And you guys, I'm barely having the paintbrush touch. Okay, hold on. We need a swiggle. I want a swiggle right there. Why? Because I just think it made it look cute. Dang it. Alright, so now the fun that I promised you guys were. Oh wow, I've been on for a while. I'm sorry guys. I didn't realize it was taking this long. So, this is my favorite stuff. It's weather resistant. It's called glitter snow. Oops. Beep, beep. I don't know where my camera is. Glitter snow. My favorite. You can get it without glitter, but why would you get it without glitter, right? That's just my opinion. Love me some glitter snow. So, it comes like this. It's really fluffy. It kind of almost looks like whipped cream or frosting already. But one thing that you want to do is make sure that you have one of your not so nice brushes or one of the brushes that you beat up, because it does beat up your brushes. It has like a glue in it, so it will beat up your brush. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit on here. Now, if you wanted it extra fluffy, this is the way to, or if you wanted it just the normal way, this would work. I like it when I'm making it more frosting like. I like to add just a little bit of paint into it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the extra white. And this is also where you could dye it. Like, I have a really cute cupcake that I have for Valentine's, and this is how I did it. So I'm just putting a little bit of paint in there, mixing it around, and it gets really a nice consistency. So before it was just a little bit thick, now it's a little bit smoother, creamier, kind of almost like whipped cream. And so what we're going to do now is we're just going to lightly plop that in there. I might have to get more. So you're just taking your brush, remember your crappy brush, the brush that you beat up too many times, or an El Cheapo that we use for Mod Podge, you can use that too. This one is a brush that's been beat up one too many times, and I just don't like the way it performs anymore. So it became this kind of brush. So we're first just going to put a light coat on, kind of tap it into where we want it, and then we're going to kind of make some swirly motions. Gotta grab some more. And it creates this cute frosting. And you guys, I'm not even joking you, it's my favorite. It's my jam. And then once it dries, you can go back over it and add some of your detail lines back again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely get more snow. All right. But I just think this is the funnest, cutest thing ever. Love myself this snow. Isn't it so fun? I love it. It gets me all excited when I get to play with it. I've been like wondering when I should show you guys, and I was like, oh, this is the perfect time. Because it does take a little bit extra time, you know, to get it right, and it doesn't show the glitter at first. When you're first doing it, it's not going to show. I have a little bit left in this bottle, but I'm going to try and scrape out maybe. So it does get a little bit clumpy, but like I said, just add a little bit of water if you're wanting it, if you're not really needing too much in it, or if you want it that extra smooth, just a little bit of paint will go a long way with it. So you can see that it was kind of clumpy. You guys can see that. It's extra clumpy right now. We might have to add a little bit of water for this one. Yeah, I think we're okay. Maybe just a little bit of water. Okay. Adding a little bit of water is not going to hurt it, I promise. Okay, so now it's nice and smooth. So we're going to add that on there. Throw that down here. And I feel like with the frosting, it's okay if it gets a little bit out of the lines, because it's frosting, for heck's sake, right? The lines are just kind of there to give it a little bit of guide. We can always make our own lines back again too. Okay. Grab just this little bit more, because why the heck not? Let's get it on there. Okay. So we're going to smooth this out. Start making our swirlies. This is so cute. Now I want to go eat some frosting. Is this making you hungry? I want a good old sugar cookie. Okay, we're going to throw some of this extra that I got here down here. I personally don't like the puff paint. I feel like it takes a little bit longer to dry, and I don't feel like you get as great of a consistency. You could try it for sure. My kids love using the puff paint. It's just not my favorite, but it might be yours. So definitely go ahead and try it. I mean, there's no in that. It's just not my favorite to use. Okay. You throw that right there. Okay. I'm going to bring it up so you guys can kind of see. You see the texture now? I know it's hard with the white. My camera doesn't like white as much. You can kind of see it there. Once it dries, like I said, I'll go back in, add those lines again, and it will make it look really good and spot on. But thank you guys for sticking out with me. I know tonight was a little bit longer than what I typically like to go, but I really wanted to show you this technique of the frosting. So, not quite, honey. I'm almost. Husband's yelling. So anyways, let me flip the camera here real quick so you guys can see based on how it looks. So you can see it there. Oh, you can see the texture a little bit more there. So thank you guys so much. Adorable. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. I know it was longer. You're so welcome, Linda. You guys have a great night. Bye, y'all. Thank you, Nancy.